Welcome back. Parts of the federal government are back and open, but they're not yet at full strength following the government shutdown. Some programs will take time, maybe even days, to get back to normal. Federal food aid assistance, for example, could start flowing as soon as today. National museums are welcoming visitors again, and airports are expected to get back to normal in the next few days. The White House says more than 1 million federal employees who were not paid will start receiving back pay as early as Sunday. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us from Capitol Hill to speak about how things are gradually getting going again. Good morning to you, Nikole. National museums, for example, they took a hit during the shutdown. Some of their doors are back open, and I know that you spoke with some visitors getting reaction to being able to see these great institutions again. What are they telling you?
Yeah, well, it's not just some of the Smithsonian museums, which, as you mentioned, will start reopening today, but also even here at the Capitol. You know, there's a visitor center, there's the Library of Congress, the Botanic Gardens, which draws lots of tourists and visitors as well. All of that did reopen yesterday, and I can tell you that there were some pretty sizable tour groups, which is something we haven't seen here around the Capitol for some time now, unless, you know, you were able to arrange a special tour through your member of Congress. But now the visitor center here at the Capitol is reopened. And as you mentioned, we spoke to some visitors on that opening day. Take a listen.
When we got here, it was a ghost town. A cab driver had been waiting 3 hours for me. He had 2 jobs the whole day. So it's not just affected SNAP and TSA and air traffic controllers, but the whole city of Washington, D.C., as well as America, was punished. And I'm just glad that we've opened back up.
It's difficult for many people over here, also not getting paid for their jobs, and I think that's quite a struggle for them. So yeah, for a tourist, I think that's like second place. I think first place is the people around here and their struggles.
So in both cases with those visitors, one was from North Carolina, the other who you just heard from there, they came all the way from the Netherlands, and they timed it kind of just right because they got here when the government was shut down, only to be here when it opened back up so they could visit the Capitol and, you know, visit some of the area museums. So that was welcome relief to them. But as you mentioned, it still could be a ways to go before all the air delays and some of the other roadblocks, if you will, are ironed out.
Yeah, and it's also just a great reminder. There are so many phenomenal museums in the nation's capital. It's great to see tourists coming from all over to experience them and see them. And it's just one of those small things you don't get when the government is shut down. Another quick question I want to throw to you, Nikole, is on legislation extending funding for most agencies. That runs out in January. Are we all about to be back here in the same place again next year?
Well, I think the hope and expectation is that we are not. You know, the whole reason we got into this shutdown fight is that congressional appropriators simply hadn't finished their work with respect to these longer-term funding bills to fund the government in full for the full year. What was good about this package that passed this week is that it included 3 of those appropriations bills to fund things like military construction, the Department of Agriculture, Veterans Affairs. So those entities will be funded for the full year, and the hope is that over these next 2 months, lawmakers can work to secure and pass these bipartisan funding bills that would fund the government in full before that January 30th deadline.
Yeah, and as you've noted, both parties suffer and are blamed when these shutdowns happen. It really benefits no one. Nikole Killion with all the latest. Thank you, Nikole. Enjoy your weekend. Great to see you, as always.
You bet.